Hello and welcome back to Humans and Society. This video is the introduction to world religions and belief systems. This course explores the main tenets and practices of major world religions: Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Theravada Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, Confucianism, Taoism, and Shintoism. It aims to help learners understand the historical context of nine religions, appreciate their uniqueness and similarities, and promote mutual understanding among believers of different faiths. They are expected to demonstrate understanding and appreciation of one's faith and that of others. This video will focus specifically on the definition of the following concepts: worldview, belief system, religion, spirituality, and theology. Worldview is a philosophical, all-encompassing perspective on everything that exists around us. It is a representation of a person's most fundamental beliefs and assumptions about the universe and its inhabitants. It reflects our answers to all the major questions about our existence. It affects the way we see and experience the world around us. It determines our opinions on moral, ethical, and political issues. As such, worldviews play a central and defining role in our lives. They shape what we believe and what we are willing to believe, how we interpret our experiences, how we behave in response to those experiences, and how we relate to others. Belief system is a set of principles that help us to interpret our everyday reality. They help to explain basic questions of human existence. Beliefs are shaped and influenced by different factors such as knowledge, nurture, or associations with other people. Major belief systems that are still practiced in modern society were developed thousands of years ago and evolved over time. The convictions that come from these systems are a way for us to make sense of the world around us and to define our role within it. Characteristics of a belief system. It requires a personal commitment from its believers. It is one of the most observable and interesting features of a belief system. Its existence is independent of its believers. The believers do not wholly contain the belief system. In fact, they are unlikely to be aware of more than a small part of it, and knowingly or unknowingly, they must take the rest of the belief system in faith. Its connectedness to human society cannot be explained. While individual commitment can be explained through psychological mechanisms, the collective commitment requires further investigation. Its lifespan outlasts its believers. There are belief systems that have been in place for thousands of years and will likely last thousands more, longer than an average human lifespan. It varies in content from other beliefs. Belief systems may be alike in their general teachings, but a substantial difference may be found in their details. Its boundaries are generally undefined. Collections of beliefs do not generally have neat boundaries. It is concerned with the existence or non-existence of entities. God, motherland, witches, and conspiracies are examples of these. It has a representation of alternative worlds. Belief systems show the world in two ways: typically, the world as it is, and the world as it should be. It relies heavily on evaluative and affective components. There are two aspects to this: one cognitive, ruled by the mind, and the other motivational, ruled by the heart. It includes stories from personal experience, folklore, or propaganda. In order to gain influence on people, belief systems are shared in the most relatable ways possible. Its content is mostly confidential. Only the highest officials and most devoted followers are willing to study the intricacies of the belief. It can be held with varying degrees of certitude. The believer can be passionately committed to a point of view, or at the other extreme could regain a state of affairs as more probable than not. There are two types of belief systems: the religious belief system and the spiritual belief system. Religious belief systems are structured around a moral code. They worship one or more deities. They practice rituals or rites based on scriptures and attempt to explain supernatural occurrences that affect our existence. Meanwhile, spiritual belief systems are based on a moral code but is not as structured. It has no deity to worship, and it does not affiliate with a particular church or temple. Religion is an organized system of beliefs and practices revolving around or leading to a transcendent spiritual experience. It is the relationship of human beings to what they regard as holy, sacred, spiritual, or divine. It is a collection of cultural systems, historical narratives, and traditional symbols and practices that connects humanity to morality and spirituality. There are five types of religions based on who or what is considered divine. Polytheism is the belief in multiple gods. Examples of these are the Greek, Roman, Egyptian, and Norse mythologies, and Hinduism. Monotheism is the belief in a single god. Examples of this are Judaism, Islam, Christianity, and Zoroastrianism. Atheism does not believe in a deity to worship. Examples of these are Buddhism, Jainism, and Confucianism. Animism believes that the natural world is divine, for example, the plants and animals around us. Examples of these are Taoism, Shintoism, and indigenous nature worship. Totemism is the belief in a human natural being connection, which is divine. Example of these is the Ojibwa from the Native American and the Wiccan. Agnostics are people in society who believe that ultimate realities such as God and heaven are unknowable. They are not an organized group and have no religious practices, but they do represent a portion of the population. Theology is the systematic study of religious faiths, beliefs, practices, and experiences. It is the study of the nature of the divine and of religious belief. Spirituality is the sense of connection to the universe and the interconnectedness of man. It relates to a person's soul or spirit as opposed to the material surroundings or physical body. It involves a state of transcendence or feeling alive with a sense of purpose. A person's definition of spirituality may change throughout life, adapting to their own experiences and relationships. While spirituality may incorporate elements of religion, it is generally a broader concept. Religion and spirituality are not the same thing, nor are they entirely distinct from one another. The best way to understand this is to think of two overlapping circles, like so. In spirituality, the questions are: where do I personally find meaning, connection, and value? In religion, the questions are: what is true and what is right? Where the circles overlap is the individual experience, which affects the way you think, feel, and behave. Other important questions regarding religion could be: what is its one central belief? How is it shared with others? What do you consider an important myth or story? What ritual do you find meaningful? What is the one rule you are supposed to follow? What is an important symbol and how is it used? Where can you find a sacred place? And how does your religion affect you emotionally? Important spiritual questions can include: Am I a good person? What is the meaning of my suffering? What is my connection to the world? Do things happen for a reason? How can I live my life in the best way possible? We end this lesson with a quote from John Meekum. Given that religious faith is an intrinsic element of human experience, it is best to approach and engage the subject with a sense of history and a critical sensibility. The ideas discussed in this lesson are based on the content standards of the Department of Education. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next lesson.